So you know that I'm head of Kantar Media in Vietnam, but you may probably didn't know that Kantar Media Vietnam, we provide 24 hours a day, 7 days a week service to the or research service to the media industry. So what I'm going to share with you today is a little bit different from what Kerry and Abidas already shared with you from the marketing from a brand's point of view. I want to share with you what we see from the context that might affecting brand communications. So when I started my career back in 1992 in the marketing, like many of you here today, we don't have any research data, but the media or the consumer behavior was so easy to predict. 7:30, we went to the office, having coffee or tea with our colleagues, reading newspapers. 11:30, we go home, gathering around a TV, watch little bits and going to take a nap. 1:30, back to the office. 4:30, you're back home and again watching your TV. So easy to catch attention of consumer. But look at back in today and see how fascinating the world changed. The first thing in the morning my daughter did is she grabs her mobile and look at Instagram. She's only 12 years old. And it's not, what she did is not different to many young people under 40. The first thing they did in the morning is get their mobile devices to look at news. So we had to accept that today, the small devices in your hand, in fact, is your newspapers, your magazine, your radio, your television, your shopping mall, and also your personal assistants. And what's even more important, because that small device is less than 6 inches, it contains the whole words and is in your choice. So it's very, very different from whatever we do before when the words of media are so passive, and now it's so much at the consumer choice. So I'm going to share with you from our study in 2016 that we found that we see the digital time spent has surpassed all traditional time spent on traditional media. And you can see that on average, a Vietnamese can spend 180 minutes a day on all different traditional media, while they spend 190 minutes on digital. And obviously, television and mobile is two most important devices, with 158 minutes spent on TV and 110 minutes spent on mobile. And we're still seeing the trends increasing. So look at this. But even when we say that people spending online is too much, lots of time, but what they really watch. So if you're looking, it's easy from a TV point of view. You're looking at content because the seminar, the workshop today talking about content. So you can see news, entertainment, and especially long series are the most sought after both online and offline media. So you're looking at the reason why, that if you're looking at the young ladies in pink, which in fact is the series called The Bride, 8 Years Old Bride. And it's really hit the television in Vietnam for the last 2 years until February 2017. And it's really made a big social change and to the point that we had to do qualitative study to understand why the Vietnamese really watching that film. If you ask any people sitting in this room, I think you don't watch the movie the same thing like I do, because I found that the rhythm of the movie is too slow. You cannot stand the camera moving from one scene to the other with one same person for half an hour. But to all the Vietnamese, when they watch that movie, the only words they tell us is they found the content is so relevant to them. And what they found is relevant to the Vietnamese is because they say that it depicts or it refreshes the values, the family values that the Vietnamese family today is missing. So the older generations influence on the kids, and then getting their parents discussing, and it become really a social hit of that series. As soon as that series ended in February 2017, the rating dropped by half on that channel, by the way. But then I think that investing in good content to looking at, to attract consumers' attention, I think that VTV did a very, very good job in local production. So the two latest series that they launched on VTV1 and VTV3, called Sống chung mẹ chồng and Người phán xét, really again enjoy very high rating to the point that people are questioning whether people are really watching it or not. Again, we had to do a survey. We went around and looking at how people turn on the TV screen by that time. And it reflects the reality that people are really watching and talking about it. So I think that Vietnam shares the same trends of the world, that people are looking for long contents. A lot of people, younger people, are more adaptive to digital convenience because, obviously it's your newspapers, obviously you can get on the news. So online you can see that YouTube's Express or VN Express, then Facebook, Zalo for messaging and text, and music is very popular. But then we also having that very official, I would say that established newspapers also having readers online. So again, when you're looking at contents, you cannot just say it's radio, but it's newspapers or it's digital contents. In fact, it's an embrace of both different medium on the new platform, digital. And the same thing, what we saw in Vietnam, the people are watching video clips, news, social media. But what's different, the only difference that we saw in the Vietnamese audience or consumers are very different in terms of watching YouTube compared to the consumer in other established markets. In other developed countries, people are using YouTube as a how-to clips. So they're looking for television, they're using SVOD or video on demand, that's to watch the entertainment, the series, the movies. But they look for YouTube as a source of information of how to. So lots of brands, a lot of stuff can offering video to guide the consumer how they can do it. But in Vietnam, I think that is especially among young people. So they're watching short video clips and it's entertainment. It's not how-to video clips. And why is that? I think it's quite understandable given the social context of the Vietnam. The Vietnamese tend to watch which they are not, which called the so-called restricted area, whether it's politics, whether it is social values or custom, or whether it is even sex. So the internet or digital platform offer unrivaled opportunity for young people to watch content that they are not allowed or they didn't see on TV or on established media, and or disproved content by their parents indiscreet. So wonderful chance for them to looking at that. And that's also posing a very much challenging work for you as marketers and brands. Because when you put in so lots of content, especially I think that advertising on content, a new one, is so difficult. So many brands can just put video on the most visited website or video and thinking that you're reaching your consumer. But in reality, you didn't. Because what happened is when you didn't consider the context of the video, then you're putting the wrong message, even with your advertising. So recently, you might know that the Ministry of Information and Culture has worked with a number of big advertisers online and also with Google, because they say that's a lot of ads are placed in inappropriate content. So you can say that's politics, but at the same time, when you're looking at other ads, when you're looking at ads attaching to different inappropriate contents, it doesn't create a very good image for your brand image, for the message you want to communicate. So that means that you are at marketers today or brand builder today. You need to look at content that you need to communicate to your consumer. You need to look for where they are. You also need to look basically of the relevant context and makes all your messages is really relevant to the consumers. Otherwise, I don't see it works for you, whether you spend money online or you're not, or just shifting the money online like many brands did today. So thank you very much for your attention.